I decided to use open data, not for anything as important as solving cancer, but for finding the perfect date. My name is Mick Thompson. I work at a company called Code for America. It's a nonprofit in the San Francisco area. We work with cities across the country to, among other things, open data and engage citizens using technology. How do you even get started using open data for dating? I know you all have plenty of ideas. You've probably already done this in your own lives. So I welcome suggestions from the audience. But I'll tell you where I got started. First of all, though, I do want to say that this isn't for me. Okay, this is for a friend. He needed a little bit of help, so this talk really was to help him along in his efforts. So anyway, I started out with the problem of finding the date, and then we'll move on to the problem of what to actually do on that date. But so I went to where you'd obviously go to on the internet to find data on this type of thing, the US Census. So after looking through a lot of census data and trying to analyze where the perfect match for me is, I came up with some very interesting results. So what I was looking for, and it may vary for anyone in the audience, but I was looking for a single female around the ages of 20 to 30. So I plotted that on a map, used chloropleth to highlight it, and so I found a few places that I should really be hanging out. So I live in Oakland in one of the darkest blue spots, so that might be my problem. I mean, my friend's problem, but where I should go is like Berkeley, or the Mission has some good spots. I don't know if you saw this the other day, but it's not using open data, but it's using Craigslist to say where misconnections are found. And I think the 24-hour fitness in California is all Southern California, so I'm going to dismiss that and take the results that it's public transit are where those misconnections are. So using open data, we can get the routes and schedules of public transit. We put that in the area that I was looking at, Berkeley, and now I know what train to ride to not miss that connection anymore. And I don't mean transit connection. So then, what about that area? I need to know something to talk about with these people. So this is actually from the, man, I just missed that slide. Anyway, let's move on to planning the date. So what are you actually going to do on this date now that you've found the perfect person? So the most obvious thing is you need to pick the day. Weather data is a perfect example of open data and something that we can use from the National Weather Service. So pick a nice sunny day. It's never really going to be warm because I live in the Bay Area, but we'll do what we can. Next, Yelp has actually been working on a specification in cooperation with San Francisco for food inspection data. So you can actually see what restaurants have had violations, because you really don't want to get food poisoning on your date. It's not good. Next, where to go. So San Francisco in their data catalog actually has a list of film locations. So you can obviously take her to all of the filming locations for Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. After that, maybe you want to head to the park and really impress her with some of the details about the park, and actually knowing who's in charge of this park, and didn't you know that it's 15.94 acres? When you're going to that park, though, you're going to need a spot to park, so you can look up all the motorcycle parking spots in the city, or moped parking spots. And then you can also use crime data. So this is a plot of just some of the robberies that have happened in the last year in San Francisco. Maybe you want to avoid those. Maybe you want to go towards them and impress your date by fending someone off. That's kind of your choice. Also in San Francisco, some of the sidewalks, they're not very clean, so you might want to peruse the 311 data to look for a street cleanup request first, so you know which streets to avoid, because that can certainly ruin a date and a pair of shoes. But anyway, open data is very useful. There's a lot of other things it can be used for besides dating, but I encourage you to use open data on your next date.